This video is sponsored by Squarespace. This one feels good. This one feels really good to make. This is 8 things that all creators struggle with. I reached out to my community, which you should join if you're not yet a part of it. It's basically a text messaging, like mass text messaging service, but it allows me to communicate with people one-on-one. It's really cool. I reached out to them and asked them, what are the things that you struggle with when it comes to making videos? Like, I've been reading all their answers. I'm like crying a little bit. I'm crying a little bit because it's so therapeutic, like cathartic to hear these people say this stuff. So I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna give a couple notes when I can on how I've tried to overcome this stuff, but in reality, what I really want this to be is just you hearing this and knowing you're not alone in feeling this stuff and taking action anyway. So number 1, striving to be better. And this is from Dan Perez. He went on to say, like, looking at a set of photos that he's about to post and asking himself, like, but is this actually better? Like, am I actually even improving? And yeah, man, yeah. That happens to me with every video, and sometimes it's just so sickening because you're like, it's not better. What am I even doing? That can just be so demotivating. Yeah, man, I hear that, and I just want you to know, like, we're all there. For me, when I feel that stuff, I just hit publish, even no matter how mad I am, and I say I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better next time. Like, honestly, that feeling is one of the biggest fires underneath me to improve, because I don't want to feel that way the next time. So, like, I just accept that feeling. I accept it and I use it as fuel for actual improvement on the next one. But I love that. Thank you for sending that in. 2, Katie Stowe, thinking it's not good enough. Similar but different, right? Where it's not like it has to be better or worse or better than your last one. Like, I've been there and I am there, constantly, where it's just, you look at it and you're like, it doesn't matter. Even if it's 100 times better than my last one, it's still not good enough. And just want to, again, validate you and that feeling. We've been there and you're awesome. And thank you for putting stuff out. I think for me, one of the biggest epiphanies I had in this sector is like, yeah, it's not good enough. I accept that I make stuff that is not good enough. Like, isn't that the journey that we're all on? Is trying to figure out how to make things that are better, that are good enough. Like, I don't know if we're ever gonna get there. I don't know if we're ever gonna get there to good enough. But honestly, one of the things that I've said to myself and to others is, you can make that judgment call when I'm gone, okay? If I ever made something that was good enough. For me, it's good enough to just keep trying for my entire life, and judge my work when I'm gone, okay? That's how I think of it. I don't know if that's encouraging or not, but I feel you and I hear you, and I struggle with that too. Number 3, is it original enough, from Clay Bowen. This one, like, this gets talked about a lot. I really very quickly started to not struggle with this because I feel like because it has my personality attached to it, it just, by the nature of us being unique individuals in this earth, it is original enough because I said it. That isn't enough for a lot of people, but that's how I feel about it. And then the second one is, and I made a really fun video about this where I flew up into the air and caught this unicorn and tackled it into the ground. There is a necessity for some level of imitation in, I think, all art forms. And if someone were to ever say, like, no, I am in no way copying another artist, I think you'd be hard-pressed to prove that. Don't let this get to you. Is it original enough? Like, maybe, maybe. I would say yes, it is. Some people might say no, it's not, but who cares, Just, like, let them think that if they're gonna think that. Not to devalue this, because I've Definitely been there. We've all been there, and we've struggled with that and do struggle with it. So thanks for sending that in. Before I get to number 4, let me tell you about Squarespace, sponsor of this video. Squarespace, just the foundation. Just building a foundation for creators to be able to have their websites, their portfolios, their content in one place on the internet. They've got great templates so that you don't need to be a professional web designer to make a professional website. Plug and play, like it's just a fantastic experience when you're making these things. You can sell stuff, you can schedule appointments, you can build your email list, like all of the tools that you need as someone who's building a personal brand. If you want to try it out, go to squarespace.com/CodyWarner, get a free trial, and then when you're ready to buy, use the code CodyWarner to get 10% off your first purchase. Number 4 from Kyle Putnam, sheer lack of motivation. Kyle, I was there moments ago, moments before creating this video. That it happens to me every day. And it's all of it. It's all of this wrapped into, well, and then now I don't feel like making a video because I'm worried it's not original enough. I'm worried it's not good enough. I'm worried it's not better enough, better than my last one. So this is probably one of the biggest ones that we've all struggled with on a day-to-day basis. The only way that I know how to cure this is to put the camera down in front of you, open up your Evernotes, type the first thing that you're gonna say, and then say it and start. It really is just starting. And it's so simple that it's like so frustrating. It's like, no, that is not it. But starting, like once you get rolling, once you kind of send your brain into direction, I think that's really where the motivation comes from. That and try to think about the people and the lives that you have positively touched in the past when you've overcome that lack of motivation and started. Thinking about that purpose and about that kind of payoff of doing it in the past, I think at least helps to get your brain in the right space. Number 5 from Nina Korn, learning to silence the voice that says, I wonder if they will like it. So again, this is different enough to touch on in a different way, but this is that fear of what will other people think, or other brands think, or the algorithm think, or your close friends think, or people who don't know you think. Like just all of that, you're putting this out there publicly. What's gonna happen? Are they gonna like it? And this is another one where like I try to flip it on its head a bit whenever I think about it, which I think about it all the time, and it gets to me and it keeps me awake at night. Oftentimes I'm like, is any of this stuff even likable? I try to flip it on its head and say, no, a lot of people aren't gonna like it. And there's just something really freeing to me about that. Like, it is still worth making, it is still worth creating and putting out there, even though a lot of people aren't gonna like it, because the fact of the matter is, there is somebody, could just be one person, could be a million people out there who will like it, who will glean something from it, who will be encouraged by it, whatever it is. If there's someone who doesn't like an artistic, creative piece of work that is created, there's always going to be another swath of people that do. The world's too big now. Like there's too many people out there for you to be lucky enough to actually make something that nobody in the world, can you imagine? That's kind of a cool, interesting goal, but like it can't be evil. You have to try to make something good and still have nobody like it. That'd be crazy. It's impossible, basically. What I'm saying is, thank you. That's what I was really saying. Christy Lindbergh, number 6, says building it up too much instead of starting. So this, comes down to effort. Thinking about what all it's gonna take, like whether you're in the edit, whether you're in the shoot, whatever it is, like all of the stuff. And it's like, so it's this massive mountain before you've started a video, and thinking about that stuff, it's like analysis paralysis, I think they call it, which that got to me a lot in business and doing commercial video for other people, is thinking about like, oh, this is just too much. I don't even want to start because it's just too much. The interesting thing about this is I don't really think you can analyze your way out of it, because the truth of the matter is, it is too much. Like it's a lot. There's so much involved in making good stuff, even if we're only putting it on our YouTube channels. Like it is a lot. You're filming, you're producing, you're directing, you're acting, you're editing, you're doing all the stuff, doing creative. It's a massive amount, and as you even alluded to in your text that you sent me, the answer to it is to just start and to kind of cross those bridges as they come, and just that 1%, like make a 1% gain today. That's really what I've been trying to focus on, is just the 1% gain. Thank you, Christy, for bringing that up, because that is something that I struggle with on a daily basis. Ooh, this one hits close to home. Not for everybody, maybe. ADHD and starting more than you finish. So just getting started and then abandoning it. I think the key with this is, if you can get a little collaborative on some of this stuff, if you can find, like whether it's in the No Small Creator Facebook group or on Twitter or whatever, if you can find someone who would be willing to work with you on some projects and make them collaborative, where you're, sending stuff over the internet and really finding a finisher. I am a starter. I also have ADHD, and I love starting things. I have a million ideas all day, every day, and I love starting at least some of them. And oftentimes, they don't get finished, and that's okay. It is okay to be a starter and not a finisher, as long as you can surround yourself with a group of people who kind of fills in those gaps. It can be really tough, I think, when it comes to YouTube, because the channels are so personal and they are normally like pretty single creator driven, but it doesn't need to be like that. Like, it could be a big collaborative effort, and you could find someone to fill in those gaps who would gain as much as you gain from them finishing, would gain as much from you starting, because they have a hard time starting. So that would be, it's very hard. It's very hard. And I don't know that there's like a way to just muscle through it, unless, like we've talked about before, you have this hard actual deadline. Like, there's actual consequences if you don't finish. Short of that, I think it's a matter of surrounding yourself with people who are either going to encourage you to finish in a way that you actually get stuff done, or finish a project for you in a collaborative way. And number 8 from Jay Littman, Imposter Syndrome. Gets every single one of us. There's a million videos on Imposter Syndrome, and I watch all of them because I'm like, maybe this will be the time that I'll stop having to struggle with this. Like, I struggle with that on this video. I struggle with that on my last video. Every video. Like, how am I equipped or qualified to be talking about this, to be teaching this? Like, there's people who would do this better than me, all of that sort of stuff. And what I gotta come back to is, yes, that stuff is probably all true. Yes, there is a lot that we don't know about our field of the stuff we're making videos about. That is actually, because of the Dunning-Kruger effect, that is actually points to the fact that you are further along in becoming a professional than you realize, because you know how much there is that you don't know. That helps me. The other thing that helps me is, some people are going to learn better from you than they are from me. And so you putting something out into the world that's trying to help, that's trying to give advice or trying to teach something, like, it's gonna positively affect somebody. And if you watch it in a year and you're like, that needs to be redone, then by all means redo it. We are what we are. We are what we are. And we wear that on our sleeves, If you're feeling like there's better info out there that you aren't yet equipped to offer, say it, say it in the video. Like, check out some other videos on this. This is one that I like, but do your own research. I hear that a lot, and I really appreciate it, because it's just people being humble and saying, yeah, of course I don't know it all. Those are the 8 things that I chose. There's a million more. I just like us being a community of people who are trying to help each other get stuff done. Thanks for being here. Check out Squarespace. Let's get this thing.